Hey guys, welcome back to Figure Fantasy. In today's video, I wanted to take a look at some of the super figurines. These guys are very useful for especially free-to-play players and early game players because you can get dupes of them much easier. You can ascend them faster, get them to higher rarities, higher level caps, and higher stats, so they can be useful. Keep in mind, late game, they do have a level cap restriction and they will fall off. So you're not going to use them right through, but the thing is, if you do build them up, you can then use them as fodder later on for your ultra figurines once you do get enough copies of those ultras. So you're not probably going to build a full team of these guys, but you know, one or two might slot into those missing spots that you really need someone in for your team. So I just wanted to go through some of my picks and let you guys know about them. So let's get into it. Okay, so first off, we do have Yuki. Yuki is actually probably my favorite tank of all the supers. She's just pretty much really solid. So attack a current target, reduces the damage taken by 10% for 8 seconds. It's not huge, boost damage for 15%, reduces the damage taken by 20% for yourself and all teammates, including summon creatures in the same line. So you get that extra mitigation as well. Mitigation always nice. You do start with 60 energy, so you get this pretty early. And also it does actually decent damage, so it's not too bad. And then we have this one here, gains 15% damage reduction and raises the shield to reflect fixed damage for 3 seconds when healed by another figurine. When the shield is up, reflects damage to random surrounding enemies upon being attacked. So you obviously need to have a healer. Most teams are going to have a healer anyway, so you need to have those heals rolling to be able to get effect of this, but not a bad effect when you actually look at what it's offering to a single character for survival. She is really just a solid tank to be in the front row of that line, and especially if you got AoE damage rolling in, she protects the rest of the allies in the line as well. Boost damage reduction to 18%, damage reflection to 15%, and then boost damage reduction to 20%, extends the duration of shield up state to 4 seconds when healed. So, you know, if you get some really nice rolling heals, then you're pretty much set with this damage mitigation just to be a solid tank in the front. Next up, I want to look at Karen because she's one that we all get guaranteed summon. With her, I feel like she's really nice in super early. You've also got to have the right team doing the right amount of spread damage for her to work effectively. She's one of those ones, I think she can be really strong, but she's not like just generally going to be the best just to splash around. The reason being, strikes the enemy with the lowest health. If the target is defeated, continues to strike another. And then it does snowball where you get more and more damage. The thing with her is if you don't get a kill, it's sort of really, if you don't get a kill when you use the ultimate, she's lackluster and she doesn't perform very well. If you've evenly spread the enemy's health low and got it in the right situation, then she performs a lot better. So it just depends on the team formation, the way you've laid it out. She can be absolutely, like some stages, especially if you level her up as your first character, like in the chapter 2 of the game, like you're gonna like, wow, she's so dominant, but it does fall off as you get further along because enemies take longer to wear down. She'll use one ult where she might not kill anyone, and then it just feels like you're not getting enough damage throughput. She really needs to get those kills to get the throughput, and then triggers every 10 seconds and attack a random enemies 3 times. It goes up to 4 times and then triggers every 8 seconds. This ain't too bad, decent damage, but like I said, it's all about her ultimate and being able to get an enemy low enough and the other enemies low enough as well, and hopefully to snowball some kills. So in certain situations, absolutely godly, like I said, and then eventually you will hit a stage where I think it'll just start to fall off and not be quite as effective. But if you do have her highly ascended and highly leveled, it's going to be much more effective than otherwise. Next up, because we did the other two that we start with, we're going to go with Kazooie. I don't know if I say that name right either. I just like it because I like anything that uses like swords like telepathically like this. I think she's got a really cool design. But she's actually not bad. Once again, it's going to come down to team formations as well. Attacks all enemies in the same line. It actually does do really decent damage. Level 2 deals extra damage to the last enemy in the line and marks it, increasing the amount of damage taken by 15%. Now, if you have some of the other snipers, not snipers, but enemies, allies that attack back row enemies, you can actually play this on manual and work it really well. For instance, the dude, like the cybernetic dude, I can't remember his name, with the mask and the sword, like who attacks, his ult attacks the back one in that row. You can actually line this up manually to use this and then instantly use his. You can just stall to make sure you get the timing right, and you can actually really nuke a back row enemy pretty strongly. So it's not too bad. And then on top of that, we do have this ability which deals damage to enemies in the same line at the start of each battle. Boost damage by 8%, reduces enemies hit damage by 8% for 15 seconds. But then you've also got this: boost damage of all allies in the same line by 4% every time an enemy is hit, stacking up to 3 times. So you can get a nice little damage increase for your allies. Like I said, use that at the very start of the battle, increase the damage of your allies. Time this one with someone else that can execute that back row, and you can really get some really nice damage on a back row enemy really quick. I see this having like early game PvP viability, but not so much crazy into the late game, obviously, because we hit level caps and you won't be using these guys at all. But all in all, early game, not too bad. Not my top pick for damage, but not bad either. Next up, we're going to be looking at this guy's probably my favorite superhero of them all. I just really like his kit. I like the way he works. I think he's really functional. And that's Minakami. So this guy's got a really nice ult. Summons a clone that lasts for 10 seconds. Clone's attack is equal to 180% of his, and he only gets 30% of his health. Also boosts attack speed by 30%. Grants 30% chance to summon an extra clone. So I like RNG like this of the extra clones. It means it gives replayability to campaign stages. Like you can replay for that RNG. Maybe your first 2 ults you get it. And it could impact the flow of the battle. Also, initial energy of 60 is really nice to get one off very early. It's going to depend on positioning, because obviously you don't want these clones to be dropping in a row where the enemies are going to hit them. So team formation is going to be crucial to this, protecting the row that actually they get summoned into. So maybe you have 3 in the top row, 2 in the mid row, and then it gets summoned to that mid row behind a tank so that it can survive. Stuff like that. You got to play around with your actual formations, but a really nice thing. Like I said, getting 180%, it's a massive boost to damage. So I really do like that one. Then we have the next ability. Each attack deals extra damage after a clone is summoned. Boosts attack speed by 30% after a clone is summoned. Boosts damage by 20%. Restores 20 energy when the clone disappears on its own. So once again, you want to keep those clones protected so that they do disappear after the 10 seconds, which means that he is going to get the damage bonus plus energy to summon them quicker. And like I said, this guy it's a really nice kit for me. If you need to slot someone into that DPS slot early on, once again, with these DPSs in the early game, because you're going to send them more, you can get them higher levels as, you know, a main damager, and you can actually get them working pretty well. The one thing is, you don't want to level these guys too far ahead so that your tanks fall behind, because then, you know, your tanks will fall through, this strategy falls through and all that sort of stuff. But this guy, probably one of my favorite supers. Next up, we have Sapphire. She just looks really cool. She looks like she should be an ultra. I don't know. She doesn't look like a super to me. She looks too cool, but her abilities, she's a really good boss unit, in my opinion, for countering strong bosses. So attacks the current target, deals damage to it, and reduces its attack by 20% for 10 seconds. Boosts damage by 15%, disarms the target for 5 seconds. So you got some really good mitigation against a main enemy. Not going to work too well against like weak enemies when, you know, you're just fighting a single weak enemy in a campaign stage. It's more for bosses and stuff like that, in my opinion. And then we do have this ability here. Grants a shield to all of your figurines at the start of the battle for 10 seconds. The shield will be adjusted by the figurine's max health, so it's a max health based shield. Shield is 15% stronger, while the shield hold increased defense by 35%. Boost the damage of the shield absorbs by 20%, also increases its duration to 15 seconds. The 15 seconds is going to be nice, but this is some good early, like just early mitigation for the start of the battle. When you start pushing, you start getting hit harder at the start of the battles, especially against certain enemies. So it's nice to have this to get that mitigation. It's very niche, but like I said, in general, I feel like she's a really nice boss unit to counter bosses, reduce that damage that they're dealing, and just help your team survive against bosses. In scrappy little stages, not going to be as strong. Next up, we have Chris, probably my second favorite behind Minakami. I really like this guy's kit as well. Really solid. So when we take a look at him, enters the Berserk state for 8 seconds, boosting attack speed by 50%. Also, attacks deal a great amount of damage at the same time. If the target is frosted, attacks also deal extra frost damage. And because the best support healer in the game, who is an ultra, but she is like, she does do the frosting, it just adds to that synergy if you do have her and you're looking for someone to slot into the team when you got that support. I believe she's from the I call it Labyrinth Shopper as well. So you've got that as well. So you can pick her up and then you can get that synergy there nicely. This one, the first attack after ultimate deals a large amount of extra damage. First attack after an ultimate freezes the target for 3 seconds and then boosts attack speed by 50% for 3 seconds after freezing the target. So not too bad. Also, you do get this off really early because we do have a 60 energy start, which isn't too bad either. So you got that along with the fact that you can snowball with the freezing the target. It's not too bad. So I think this guy's really nice. Not as flashy in my opinion. Like the design isn't as crazy for me personally, but I really do like his skills. So next up we have Dolores. I don't see many people talking about her, so don't take this one as she's like godly or anything like that. It's just something that I want to experiment with just from reading her kit. I want to try her on my new account as a carry, as like a power leveled carry, to get more DPS out of one of my tanks essentially. Make her as like a DPS tank. If she's power leveled, I think she'll have the stats required to tank, but also deal some nice damage. So that's something I'm going to experiment with. It's an untested experiment, but just looking at her kit, I think it can really work. When we look at her ultimate, restores a certain amount of health and boosts attack speed by 50% for 10 seconds. Also, attacks grant healing equal to 50% of the damage dealt at the same time. After unleashing the ultimate, the next 3 seconds reduces damage taken by 50%. So this ability, you get a heal, you get attack speed increase and a heal over time, because as you deal damage, you're healing for 10 seconds. And also you're getting a 50% damage mitigation only for 3 seconds, but you can also time this on manual to get that damage mitigation when you do need it. So there's a lot in this skill that I think is really nice and could really help for like clutch stages. And like I said, I just want to test her as an early game carry. I think she could be nice once you get those higher ascensions, higher levels, and higher stats. Then we have this one, triggers every 6 seconds and deals a great amount of damage to the current target. So obviously you're going to be getting this off at least once every time you do an ultimate. Once again, we do start with 60 energy on the ultimate as well, so we get it off fairly early. But you're going to get that procced during the ultimate, which means this is also going to heal because it's dealing a great amount of damage, which means it's also going to heal a great amount. Also, when we get reduced 15% of the energy when the effect is triggered, is not too bad, and then we get it down to a 5-second cooldown. But I just have this theory that she's going to be decent. And obviously we have this passive as well, which, you know, a lot of these guys have, but it's not a bad passive for her. So I just think that she could have viability. I'll keep you guys posted on my progress once I do get the account that I want and I start testing her. I just think these two things combined just seem like she can have a really nice tankiness and self-sustain and sort of be a pseudo tank for a team and main damage dealer. I don't know, probably going to fail miserably, but it's just something I want to test. But anyway, that is going to round off this video, guys. Thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.